What's going on, Q2? Coming to y'all with a quick dose of the Q pill regarding a tweet that I seen earlier on Twitter on X that said women cheat on men even when men do everything in their power. Why is this the case? And I thought it was a really interesting question because it just highlights the lack of understanding that we as humans have when it comes to human behavior, especially in the context of mating, dating, and relationships. Now, first, let me just preface this video by saying, one, we are animals. You cannot cheat-proof a relationship, okay? Cheating, infidelity is a part of human nature. We have always did it. Men have always cheated. Women have always cheated. And cheating occurs under many different circumstances. In particular, I'm going to go over the main ones because, as I said, it's inevitable. So that brings me right into the point that as a man, if you have a woman, this is why it's so important to vet. You vet for compatibility. You vet for an alignment of values. You vet for intelligence, political affiliation, personality. These are the things that you have to vet women for, because you have to know the type of woman that you're dealing with and to whom you're getting into a relationship with. Because ultimately the goal is, as a man, due to our evolved biology and psychology of wanting to avoid being cucked or our woman cheating on us and us investing resources in a woman and in another man's offspring. That's what we want to avoid ultimately. So why does a woman cheat when you've done everything in your power for that woman? Well, the first reason that women typically cheat is due to relationship dissatisfaction. Relationships are complex. Women are wired a certain way. Women are wired to respond to men who behave in certain ways. There are certain things, there's a certain level of stimulation emotionally and sexually that women need in a relationship. And the relationship has to offer a certain level of rewards or benefits to a woman that would keep her interested in a man. So if, as a guy, you lack in one of those areas, the ability to emotionally stimulate a woman, sexually satisfy a woman, and her perceived rewards that she would get with you are relatively low or minimal, then you optimize your chances of being cheated on. And this also works for men as well. But as I said, we're addressing women because the question asked about why can men do everything in their power and women still cheat. But emotional dissatisfaction, sexual dissatisfaction, and her benefits or her perks of being with you, they're not that appealing to her. Which brings me to relationship compatibility, which brings me to how well you guys, how aligned you guys are in mate value. If a woman is an 8 and you're a 5, she'll probably cheat because there's more than likely that you offer something in the relationship that is beyond physical appearance and her ability to be sexually attracted to you optimally, to where she's kind of settling for you on the basis of the fact that you might be able to provide some financial resources or opportunities that other men who are better looking than you might not be able to provide. But if she can find a man who can provide those things and they're attractive, she'll probably cheat because her baseline attraction to you reflects her baseline level of investment in you. Women like men who are physically attractive. Women do more for men who are physically attractive. Women stay longer with men who are attractive. Women will put up more with men who they find physically attractive. So if you aren't as physically attractive, especially relative to her, if there's a disparity in your physical appearance versus hers to where she's 2-3 points more attractive than you, then you maximize your odds of being cheated on that alone. So you have to do more work. You have to put in more effort to be more appealing. You have to elevate your level of perceived rewards in her eyes for her to not be tempted to stray. That brings me to the next point. If you're an attractive guy and she's physically attracted to you, sexually aroused by you, she has a heightened attraction to you, it will be easier for you to emotionally stimulate her, sexually satisfy her. Not due to the fact that you're attractive, you will be able to do that because the way she perceives you is already in a positive light. You guys may have heard of something in social psychology called the halo effect. This is a very real thing. The finer you are, the more attractive you are, the more handsome you are, the more beautiful you are, the more likable you're intrinsically going to be, and the more people will develop positive illusions about you, when in the beginning of romantic relationships, women typically tend to develop positive illusions about the men that they're dating, especially if he's physically attractive. So this gives you a larger margin for error, and it gives you more to work with a woman who's physically attracted to you. Now, if you're physically attractive, but you're not intelligent, you don't mentally stimulate her, then this could also heighten your odds of her being emotionally dissatisfied. You don't say the right things. You don't make her feel like she's important. You don't know how to word things. You have no abstract ability to be romantic. You don't say things that make her hearts flutter. You're just operating on physical attraction alone. You don't give her butterflies with your words. Y'all are strictly just operating on physical attraction. This can die out as well, especially if there's conflict. Especially if there's conflict, this can die out. Because what conflict does is it diminishes her affinity and her attraction to you. The more you argue, no matter how good you look, the more you argue, the more she has to ask for you to say certain things, whether it's being emotionally vulnerable, which self-disclosure is a big reason. This is a predictor of relationship satisfaction. If you don't tell this woman, even though she's super attracted to you, that you love her, you miss her, you want to spend time with her, if you don't open up to her about the way that you feel about her in ways that would be what we call reward disclosure, she can become emotionally dissatisfied. And this is when women start to look for that emotional fulfillment in the guy friends. They tell the guy friends about their problems because they can't communicate with you. And if it's an attractive guy friend who she's really attracted to, then this is how they end up cheating with that guy friend, because that guy friend is attractive. He's more sensitive and compassionate than you are, and he provides her with a level of emotional intimacy that even though she's physically attracted to you as a guy, you aren't able to provide. So this also leads to a level of emotional dissatisfaction in her that could drive her to cheat. And then the final factor is finances. Finances is one as well. If you as a guy cannot hold up your end financially, if you cannot provision in the ways that she feel is sufficient and satisfactory to her, you will become less and less attractive. She will get more stressed, more frustrated over time with the fact that you can't carry your weight. Not only can you not carry your weight, but it's disadvantageous to her because women are inherently attracted to men who have the potential to accrue resources in order to support a family. Women are the ones who carry babies. Women are the ones who do most of the parental investment in the offspring. They do more so than men. So it's more costly for a woman to have a man's baby, and then it's more stressful to have a man's baby and that man cannot provide, and then she has to do extra work on top of caring for that baby. This is biology. This is psychology. It is inevitable. It is not something you can bargain with. It is not something that you can argue with. It's just the way that it is. This is just the reality of human nature. This is what it is, how we've evolved as people, because at the end of the day, we're animals. So if you are unable to hold up your end provision, you don't make enough money, or there's a disparity in you guys' income to where she feels like she's doing more work, she's doing more of the provisioning, then alternative prospects become more attractive. And that is essentially what it boils down to. A woman will cheat once she's emotionally dissatisfied. She feels that the rewards of the relationship are no longer that appeasing, and she perceives that she has better alternatives in relative to you. That's when she will cheat. So as a man, there are external factors that you can't control for. There are some things that you can't help that just don't play in your favor, but that just means you have to put in additional work. You have to find a woman who's more on your level, and you have to make sure that you are fully invested in that relationship to where that woman is emotionally and sexually satisfied, and you need to do that to the best of your ability. That's not going to guarantee that she won't cheat, but it does greatly reduce the odds that she will, because if she feels that she can't get any better, she can't do any better in one regard or another that keeps her emotionally satisfied, sexually satisfied, she won't go anywhere. However, if it's any of those three things that I mentioned, she's way more attractive than you, but you have the financial resources, but she somehow gets unhappy, or you're attractive but you're not emotionally stimulating, or your sex is bad, or she makes more money than you, then you maximize the chances of her cheating. And that's just the reality of the situation. Women cheat. It also doesn't help if you date a promiscuous woman, or you date a woman who has a high body count, who's been around the block. That woman is used to jumping on dick and then moving on. So that doesn't help as well. But that's the explanation for why, as a man, you can have a woman, you can do everything in your power to make sure that you're tending to the relationship. And understand that just because you think you're doing everything in your power, you're biased towards yourself. That does not mean you are actually doing everything in your power objectively. That's just everything you think you're doing based on the knowledge that you have about yourself and what you think your woman wants. That's also why it's an excellent idea to get to know your woman. Vetting. You have to know your woman. You have to learn her, learn what she likes, learn how she likes it, learn what she likes to be told, learn what she likes to be given, so you know that you know your woman better than anybody else possibly could, and the only person that she can depend on to give her what she wants in the ways in which she knows she likes it is from you. That's the reason, though, you can do everything as a man and still be cheated on, because cheating is a part of human nature. And it's inevitable, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't date. That doesn't mean you should fear being in a relationship. You know, me personally, I'm not afraid of heartbreak. I'm confident in my ability to assess the type of women that I date, analyze their behaviors, understand them. I know how I operate when it comes to relationships, and I don't have women who are walking around who were emotionally dissatisfied or sexually unfulfilled by me. But most women do not cheat, and most women do not seek to cheat, and most women don't get into relationships with the intent to cheat. It's just something that happens because relationships, as they go on, things become rocky, problems arise, incompatibilities reveal themselves, arguments happen, and one thing just leads to another, and that's just the inevitability of being in a relationship sometimes. So as a guy, you want to make sure you do everything in your power to mitigate that. And this video is for the men who want to take this information and use it to their advantage, not for the men who, well, I just won't date women. Nah, fuck that. I'm not talking to y'all. I'm talking to the men who actually want to take this video and use it to their advantage. But I'll catch you guys on the next dosage of Q-Pill. I hope this video has been enlightening. Over and out.